Hi, Iakovos. It's nice to be with you.
You too.
Is there anything that you'd like to do to bring yourself present in addition to what we've just done?
No, I think I'm okay now.
Okay. So, if you found yourself at the end of our coaching conversation, what would be different than it is now? What would you walk away with?
Well, ideally, I think I will I will believe more in my coaching ability. If I have to say something, I will say this. Yeah,
So, you believe in your coaching ability.
yeah.
And why
Um,
does it matter to you to believe in your coaching ability?
well, generally speaking, of course, in order to do something, you need to kind of believe that you can do it, right? Uh, For example, I know I cannot paint well, so I'm not painting. I don't care. But when I'm coaching, if it's going to be a job, right, I have to believe that I can do it. And even though I do understand that I am improving, my skills are improving and everything, I have doubts, especially if I do something wrong, for example. Sometimes that brings doubts in my head. And I always wonder, like maybe even go to the point that maybe this job is not for me. It happened like a few days ago. Now I usually get rid of these thoughts very quickly, and I do realize that the more experience I have, the better this is going to become. But I also realize that ideally I would like to at least, if not make this thing go away completely, make it at least go like down in order not to be bothered by it. And in order to achieve that, a couple of days ago I wrote a list of my strengths. I'm like, okay, let's focus on my strengths, right? Um, and some of them I know I have, some of them I'm not 100% sure, but I still have some doubts that the weaknesses I have as a coach right now, some of them may be very like very important and longer. And I decided to maybe it's a good opportunity to get coached by you because you're so good at this job. So maybe this can help me even more to actually make it clear in my head.
Okay. So, you want to believe in yourself as a coach. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And 1 to 10 right now, where would you place yourself on that scale in believing in yourself as a coach?
I would say, hmm, I would say six. Six.
And as we have this
Yes.
conversation,
Six.
next 20 to 30 minutes, where would you like to end up? If you were to start
Um,
now, where would you like to end up if we were to give it a number?
well, I think realistically, an eight would be okay. Yeah, I think it would be. Yeah.
And what do you think needs to change in order for you to get to an 8 by the end of our conversation?
Um, I think that I need to, since I know my strengths right now, what I need to do is somehow believe that these strengths are real, if that makes any sense. Like, if I believe that, for example, the strength of me being like logical generally is a real asset in coaching, and I can use it, like consciously knowing that I'm using it and I can do it, then I think this is going to help to be more certain about the strengths that I have, and that would allow me eventually to try to improve the weaknesses.
Certain?
Yes, more certain in a sense that I will be sure of myself. Because right now, for example, in my daily life, I know I'm a logical person. I think I am a logical person. But when it comes to coaching, to me, it feels like being logical, it's a prerequisite, right? So I don't count it as a skill, because for some reason I count those skills only the things that are not necessarily required. There are extras that you do. For better or worse. So if something like this is a prerequisite, I don't count it as a skill. But if I believe that, for example, being logical is a skill and I can use it in certain ways, along with the other things that I do also, then if I believe in it, I will be more certain about it. I'm like, okay, this is a skill, I have it in my skill set, which means that I have, let's say, 5 different things I can do well. So I'm going to focus on these 5 things I'm doing well in order to deliver a good coaching experience for the client. And in the meantime, as I progress and become better, I will improve on the weaker points as well. But I think it's important to focus on the strong things first in order to have a strong foundation and rely on that.
So you broke up a little bit. You said you believe it's important to focus on your strengths first?
On my strengths in order to build a strong foundation, rely on that until I make it so my weak points are also strengths.
Okay. So what are some of your strengths?
Well, yes. I should take my small list here. Okay. So one of my strengths is honesty. And another one is being logical, generally. Another one is critical thinking. Another one, I'm not going to mention all of them, but another one is creativity. And another one is growth mindset. And I think finally, another one that I found about a couple of days ago is, I'm not even sure if that's true, but the person told me about it. It is the ability to challenge the client for some reason. Yeah, that's what they told me. And I do kind of agree with that. I thought about it a little bit. I remember a few instances that I got to challenge the client a little bit. So maybe that's a strength as well. But the ones that I mentioned to you now, they are certainly strengths. I'm not sure how to apply them in coaching, all of them, but they are certainly strengths of my character.
So when you consider your strengths that you just read, how does that impact your belief in yourself?
Well, I do know that I am all those things, right? I'm not questioning if I am these things now, but I don't know exactly some of them if they will be able to be applied in coaching and how. Because in coaching, up to this point at least, I do usually use my curiosity along with the skills we learned here, obviously, but I use my curiosity as the driving force to move forward, right? Now that's a good thing, but I was wondering if I could consciously say, let's say that critical thinking is a strength, right? So how can I apply that into the coaching consciously? So I can say, okay, this is another skill besides curiosity. And then I have logic, and then I have like the ability, the creativity, for example, another one. I think it's important. How can I apply creativity into the coaching, right? If I know how to apply them consciously at first, then I will be more sure about myself, and I will know that the client that comes to me will come to me because I have these skills, and because they like me as a person, but because I have the skills, so I feel sure about myself. They can see it, they can benefit from it, and that will help me grow, and that will allow me to also build upon the weaker points, build them up, because now, for example, I tend to focus a little bit more on the weaker points, and that kind of makes me sometimes feel a bit bad in a way, because I'm focusing, okay, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, that's the problem, and that doesn't help. But if I can focus on the strengths and apply them consciously in the coaching session, then I think I can do that better and improve on the weaknesses as well.
So what's the learning there?
Well, the learning, I think, is that since I believe I have the strengths, because I know I have them, so the question is, how do I apply them in the coaching? Now, I do know that unconsciously, sometimes I do apply them, right, without thinking about it, which is fine. But maybe I can think of ways, for example, let's say creativity, right? If I can think of a way to consciously apply creativity, like practically speaking, for example, what I do as a client usually, I guess I can be the coach too, is to come up with good metaphors, right? Now, when you are the coach, you don't tend to come up with the metaphors yourself. That's true. But if I could find another way to apply the creativity there, this could be a tool that I could use in many cases if I have to. For example, and I guess I could do the same thing with the other ones somehow. Yeah, I just need to find out how. Yeah.
I hear your question of how, and what I'm curious about is, where does belief live in your body?
Okay, now I'm not usually very good at this, but I think if I have to answer the question, it would be in my head, because a lot of stuff is in my head. Now I know why I have that, let's say, limiting belief. It's a long story, but I think if I can differentiate myself from the past and go a bit more closer to the present, I can say that since I now believe that I have the critical thinking, I have the creativity, I have everything, then I can just apply them into coaching, and the only thing I need to do is figure out how specifically, but that's more technical, right? Yeah. But to answer the question, I think it's in my head.
I'm sorry?
To answer the question you asked, I think the answer is it lives in my head.
Yes, I hear a lot of thinking going on. You have a beautiful mind that has a lot of ideas. And I'm wondering what's happening in your heart or your belly and your belly. If you were to bring some of that down, yeah, what's happening there?
Okay. Well, well, my belly, I'm not going to talk about that because I think it's a bit empty. But joking aside, I think if I have to think about my heart, I don't tend to think about my heart unless I'm very, very emotional. But if I have to do it, I think there is some doubts, and it's like there's a part of me that tries to say, to hold me back and to say that you cannot do this and stuff like that. And because I don't know if that's even applicable in this case, but because I tend to have a very even though I have an open mind, I have a very closed heart. It doesn't open very easily. And if I don't know how to do this, but if I could, let's say, take one of the qualities, let's say creativity, and put more heart into it somehow, maybe it can be used. Because if I do usually what I like to do, that means I'm going to do it well. So if I'm creative, because I am a bit creative, if I use that and use my heart as opposed to my head, it's applicable with creativity a lot. So maybe this can help open my heart to the concept of creativity, and maybe eventually open my heart to the client. The client is going to feel more comfortable. That's of course theoretical, but I can't really imagine how it would be. But maybe it could happen.
What's happening in your heart right now?
It's a little lighter, kind of, a little bit. I'm not expecting a change right now, to be honest. I know for me it takes time to process things, but I think it is a bit lighter. Generally, the whole process we're doing is quite different from the other. I think I only had similar experience with another coach before, who happens to be in the room today with us, by the way. But it's not very often that I feel that way, so that the experience is different. And that that helps. I mean, I am a bit nervous, to be honest, opening up like this. But still, it does help. It does help. So yeah, I guess my heart is a bit lighter to answer the question.
So we're in this together. I'm right here with you. And I'd love to hear more about how your heart is lighter.
Okay. Well, I am trying to focus on the creativity part, because I know, I think, I'm not sure if that's true, but I think that when I talk about creativity, I kind of connect myself with, let's say, my inner child, right? In the past, I'm thinking about myself in the past a little bit and all that, because I remember I used to be, when I was a teenager, I remember I used to write lyrics, and later I started writing music and stuff. Now all this is creative work. Now I ended up not pursuing it professionally, but I think I do have a creative body somewhere there, and I think maybe it kind of connects with my sorry, with my inner child, let's say. Of course, that brings up other memories that are not so good necessarily. But if I focus on the positives, I can say that, if creativity is my inner child, and the inner child is, sorry, it's full of potential, as children tend to be, right? So that means that creativity can be used as a tool to fulfill potential. I don't know if the expression is correct, but basically to live up to the potential, right? And if that is the case, one, I can live up to my own potential, which I don't yet know exactly what it is. Of course, I'm still new to this. But and then if I can apply that to the client, maybe I can make them see their own potential. Now, it's not going to be automatic for me to apply that, because for you, for example, right now it is, I'm sure, very automatic to do what you do. But it will take time for me. But if I keep it in the back of my head, maybe it's going to be a bit easier to apply, and later eventually will become second nature. Yeah, it's an interesting way.
Yeah, may I give you an observation?
Sure.
I'm observing that when you started talking about creativity and your heart being lighter, that your energy changed. It felt like your whole being got lighter. And I'm wondering if you noticed that, or if you notice any difference in your energy changing.
Yeah, I do notice I'm a little out of my head for a second.
And what is that like? What is that like? That experience?
Well, it is a little more, it's a bit of a relief, to be honest, because I'm usually inside my head, and it does help me being inside my head, but I think I need to take a break sometimes, and it does help. So that's good to do. So thank you for helping with that. Yeah, and I can see an energy change. Sorry, and yeah, I guess I can think about all the stuff we're saying now, and then eventually we'll come up with something.
Well, I'm going to ask you again, what did you just learn about yourself?
What I learned that creativity is important, that there is a part of me that is creative, and that I can apply. I can let that part of me out a little bit more often, and I can apply that knowledge that this part of me knows. I can apply that to coaching and help the person I'm coaching, my client, to find their creativity or the thing that they need. That usually can be to find their own, like, let's say, inner child or whatever, to help them feel better, as opposed to just figuring out the solution, like practically speaking. And having this as a tool, I'm not saying I'm going to use it every time. It depends on the client. But if I have it as a tool at my disposal, I know that maybe with some clients who need this, I can now actually apply it instead of trying to go to the logical route necessarily. It will take time to practice, but it's a good thing to know.
Yeah. So what you just learned about creativity and its relationship to your heart, I'm wondering where the belief in yourself as a coach comes into that.
Can you explain the question, please?
Well, we started out with the conversation is that you wanted to believe more in yourself as a coach. And now you've talked more about the helpfulness of bringing your heart online in addition to your head that has a lot of good ideas and skills, and creativity and the power of that potentially in your coaching and in your life, and how it's in your life.
Okay, so I think now, for example, I did believe as I said from the beginning, that I do believe that I have critical thinking and I have everything. So I do know that these are skills that I am applying to coaching, not perfectly, but I apply them into coaching. But now with the creativity, I think that unlocks another part of my coaching self. Let's say, right? I can say with a bit more clarity that I believe that I have the creativity, which is a skill that I can apply into coaching. I don't know exactly the way, practically speaking, but I will figure that one out. But now I know it's a skill I have, not generally only in life, but specifically in coaching, and I can transfer it into coaching, and I can use it as a backup plan or something to to go there as opposed to staying with inside my head. And if I can coach from my heart somehow, then maybe it will be easier for the client to connect, and that will help the relationship with the client and help the client as well with their issues and give a good result by the end of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so lots of new learning here. Do you want to articulate or capture any of that?
Too much in my head now to articulate.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think I'm going to keep the main thing that I can use the creativity for the coaching, and I have the creativity. The creativity lives inside of me as my inner child, let's say, right? It's not just a thing that I do occasionally to pass the time. It's something I can actually do actively, and if I can take it out and transfer it into the coaching, I can then connect to the client better, because I have a problem doing that right now. But if I can figure out the creativity, then I can connect to the client better, and I think that's going to help me and the client as well. I'm going to keep that as a main point.
And how does this new awareness affect your belief in yourself as a coach?
Well, it does help. It does increase the belief in myself. I think I'm certainly at an 8 right now, if not a 9, maybe.
Can you tell me what's different?
Well, the difference is that it's a bit more clear to me now that creativity is important for me, and I can use it. It's not just a thing I do. It's actually a thing that I can apply to the coaching skill. It's a part of me, not just a skill. It's a part of me, and if I can transfer it practically to the coaching, then it is a skill that I have, and I don't necessarily need to learn that skill right now. I can improve it, of course, but I don't have to learn it from scratch, because I used to believe that the only skill I have is logic, right? So, but now I know I have another one. I can go back to that if I have to get to that, and so now I have 2 things I can do, as opposed to 1.
Okay.
And that helps out
Wonderful.
a lot.
So one of your questions earlier was how, and it was in regards to a couple other things, but I'm wondering, now that we're getting to the point of kind of seeing how you're going to take this new learning, this new awareness into your life, how would you answer that? How? Like, what action do you want to bring into your life?
Well, I think, first of all, I need to think a bit about it, of course. How do I apply creativity into coaching? But I think I have to try to actively kind of sense the client a bit more because right now I was in my head, right? So I had one way to go. So I knew that no matter what the client wants, we will go, I will try to take it logically, think about it logically and go there. But now I can just not think about it logically, just wait. And if I see the client needs some more logical, some more this kind of thing, I know I can go there, no problem. But if they need something else, I can try to use creativity to help them out. But I think it's a matter of practicing in the coaching. I don't think I can do many things outside of the coaching to do that, besides maybe thinking a few ideas to apply that. But I think it's mostly practice during coaching. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to seek out practice partners. I do have a couple of peer coaching sessions already, to peer coaching partners to work with, so I can practice with them as well. And I will see where that leads me.
And so the accountability and supports going forward to put this awareness into practice?
As I said, I do have a couple of peer coaching partners. They will totally understand the thing. Of course, I can talk to my teachers too about it. And maybe I can even talk to my therapist about it. I think all of that support group there is going to be helpful. Yeah.
So, Iakovos, I want to acknowledge you for the courage you had to go into your heart space when it sounds like you're primarily comfortable in your head, and the discoveries you were willing to open up to and become aware of, and your perseverance with this in this moment. You felt a little nervous, you said, but you went into it. So I appreciate your partnership in that way so that we could move to this new place. So I just want to make sure you understand how courageous that was.
Yeah, believe me, I do, because it's not easy opening up to a person, especially a person that I don't know very well, like deeply, because we happen to know each other. It was difficult, but I am thankful I did it, and I would like to also thank you about giving me the opportunity. I was looking forward to be coached by an MCC coach, and I can, after being coached by all three levels, I have to say that it's clear to me that the MCC coaching is something different. And it was very, very helpful. So thank you again for that.
You're welcome. And with your creativity and your mind, your beautiful mind and your beautiful heart, and maybe some belly will come into it, you're going to make your way to MCC one of these days as you strengthen your belief in yourself as a coach. You're on your way.
Thank you.
How would you like to end our time together? What would make you complete?
Honestly, I think I'm already complete. That's my heart helps already. I don't think. I think in order to feel better, I will feel better a bit when I get out of the room, because now I'm a bit emotional, even though it doesn't, maybe it's not that easy to see, but I am a bit emotional. But yeah, I am fine. As I said, I'm very thankful for the opportunity, and it was very, very enlightening and very useful experience. And I will keep it.
I'm sorry.
Keep it in mind. And I will keep the experience in mind. I will remember the experience.
So will I. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. A pleasure for me too.